Hola, parents of hybrid students. My name is Senora Barboza, and I'm your student's Spanish teacher this year. I'm in room 38, which is downstairs at the high school, and this is actually my first year with Brecksville. Right here you can see my email. If you ever need to contact me, I will respond within 24 hours. And here's my phone number if you ever want to call or leave a message. So I want to tell you a little bit about me so you know that who your students are spending their time with. I grew up in Strongsville, graduated from there, and then I went to Elon University, which is a really nice, smaller school in North Carolina, and I majored in French there and minored in Spanish. And I thought I wanted to be a French professor, but I decided to go back to school to do education courses to teach high school and middle school, and I did that at Cleveland State. So I finished up my Spanish there, and I did my education courses. In terms of learning Spanish, I've learned it in Spain, and in Mexico, and Peru. So I've had a chance to practice my Spanish in different parts of the world, which has been great. And this is actually my 7th year of teaching. Like I said, it's my first year at Brecksville, but it's my 7th year teaching. And most of those years were spent teaching at schools within the Catholic Diocese of Cleveland. 3 of those years were at St. Raphael School, which is in Bay Village, and I taught 7th and 8th grade Spanish there. A little bit about my class. I want to talk about my expectations for students, so you're aware. While we're in class, I'm going to spend that time focusing on them giving output, which means hearing them speak and write, so giving them a chance to practice the Spanish that they're learning. And that's where we'll do our assessments as well. In the world language world, it's just easier and makes more sense to do assessments in person. So this is where we'll be doing tests, quizzes, oral exams, etc., while we're in class. And then while your students are at home, while they're virtual, they're going to be going to Google Classroom. They'll do a daily question of the day that counts as their attendance, and then they know I showed them where to look for their agenda every day to look at what their assignments are for the day. So when they're at home, it'll be a lot of input, which means reading and listening. And of course, we have our Zoom class on Wednesdays. That will be during our Spanish class period. And we'll do a mix of things there. It might be reviewing things from the past week, previewing things that are coming up. I might put them in small groups to practice speaking, so just a whole variety of stuff. For grades, you can just check Progress Book. I'll update that at the very latest weekly, but usually I update it every couple days. The last thing I wanted to talk about was how to support your student. Since this year is a little bit different, they're not going to be in class speaking and listening to Spanish 5 times a week. They're only going to be here in class 2 times a week, so it's a little bit more difficult to get the practice that we usually have. So I always tell students, use it or lose it. If you don't use the language, you're going to lose it and forget it. I know because that happened to me with French once I started learning more Spanish. I didn't use French, so I lost it and had to restudy everything. So here are some ways that are fun and easy to practice Spanish with your students. Of course, ask them about class and ask them what they're learning. And then use your Netflix or Hulu or whatever streaming service that you have. And there are tons of options from kids stuff all the way up to adult stuff that you can listen to in Spanish from a whole variety of countries. I always suggest putting the audio in Spanish so that they're hearing it, and then putting the English subtitles so that you can understand what's going on. Another great way to practice is through music. This is what I love. So you could look on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, anywhere. And if you just look in, I always look at Latin playlists. There's a big variety of music there. And that's a really good way for them to practice their listening skills. Another music option is our Cleveland radio station in Spanish. It's 87.7. And it's great because they talk about things that we'll be learning, like the weather, numbers, they talk about colors, prices of different things. So that's actually really good for practice. And plus it's just dramatic and they have a fun mix of music. So 87.7 is fun to put on in the car while you're taking them to soccer practice or whatever. Then we have La Plaza Supermarket in Lakewood. If you haven't been here, I would highly recommend. It feels like you're walking into Mexico. It even smells like Mexico. And they have a little side cafe now with awesome burritos and tacos. And there's just a whole bunch of different fruits, vegetables, canned foods, prepared foods that you can find at La Plaza that you couldn't find anywhere else. And then as for restaurants, I tried to put a few things that are different than your regular old Cozumel. We have La Bendición, which is they have pupusas, and those are from Central America. But La Bendición is it's in Cleveland on around West 117th. And so is Luchitas, this other one I put on here. That's a very authentic Mexican restaurant on West 117th. And then Barroco is a Colombian restaurant, which I think they have multiple locations now, but the original one is in Lakewood, and that's really fun to go to as well. So, if you could get your students practicing more Spanish by doing any one of these things throughout the year, that would be awesome. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. And I hope you guys have a great, successful year. I know that we're all learning as we go, so please know that I'm trying my best to help your students learn Spanish. Thank you.